tax abatement. How do I file for a tax abatement? Why does my assessed value change when nothing changed on my home? In this video, we will explain the abatement process for the taxpayers of the town of Hull. The first step in applying for an abatement of property tax is filling out the application. Application forms are available at the Assessor's office in the Town Hall at 253 Atlantic Avenue. Office hours are Monday and Wednesday, 8 to 4. Tuesday and Thursday we are open from 8 to 7:30, and we are closed on Fridays. The forms are also available online. If you have internet access, you can go to the Town of Hull website and follow the links to the Assessor's page. You can print out the form. You can call the Assessor's office during business hours at 781-925-2205 or email us with questions. The abatement application form contains all of the who, where, what, and why information you will need to start the process. The purpose of this video is to explain that all-important how. On your tax bill, one of the most important things to notice is the assessment date. The value shown on your bill is as of January 1 of the previous year, not the day you received the bill. If you think the valuation indicated on your tax bill is wrong, obtain an application for an abatement. Carefully read everything on the front and back of the form. Now, considering the assessment date, rethink whether or not you agree that the valuation is a reasonable indication of what your property might have sold for on the assessment date January 1 of the previous year. If you still think the valuation is wrong, fill out the front of the application and file it. Your application must be delivered to the Assessor's office or postmarked before the deadline. The Board of Assessors is prevented by law from granting abatements unless you file on time. What's next? Make a copy of your tax bill and attach it to your application. When you get the application for abatement form from our office, you will also receive a form titled Information Requisition. We have created this form in order to help you make your case and justify the reasoning behind your application. The Board of Assessors has the authority under Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 61A, to require that this form be filled out and returned within 30 days, or they may deny the application for abatement. An application for abatement for overvaluation should be based on one of two reasons: sales of similar properties and/or assessed values of similar properties. Sales of properties with very similar characteristics, such as location, lot size, structure size, type, age, and condition, that have occurred reasonably close to January 1 of the previous year, the assessment date, or the assessed values of properties with very similar characteristics to your property that indicate your property is incorrectly valued. When looking at values, you may see your home's assessed value is changed in relation to a neighbor's home. Old property values are not considered at all during a revaluation. There are three basic reasons why the two previously similar assessments now have different new assessment. First, the old value on one or both of the properties could have been wrong. Second, one of the property types may have appreciated or depreciated more or less than the other. And third, there may have been physical changes to one of the properties that would change the assessment. Whichever the case, you will find all the information needed to validate your claim at our office. In the town of Hull, value is also found in areas that have been grouped together. These clusters aid in determining the assessed value as well as lot size, living area, type, age, and condition. Now it is time for you to do some homework. Request a printout of your property with your application form. You can ask for one at the Assessor's office so you can check for errors in the listing of characteristics. In the processing of your application, one of the very first things we will do is to inspect the property inside and out in order to verify the appraisal data on file. If you do not want to allow an inspection of your property, your application will be denied and you will lose your right of appeal to the Appellate Tax Board. Now let's look at the information requisition form more closely. Part 1 covers the grounds for complaint. First, fill out the top portion identifying who you are and what property is involved. You should enter your opinion of value in dollars in the space provided. Next, fill in the space provided to tell us which sales or other assessed values you feel would validate your opinion of value. You should offer at least 3 properties other than your own with sales or assessed values to make your case. It is important to be sure to use comparable properties that have very similar characteristics to your own. All sales data and valuations of all property in town can be found on the assessor's office counter. In addition, the records of all characteristics of your parcel and all other properties are available on our computer. This is the Public Information Computer Terminal. If you have any difficulties using this terminal, we will assist you in finding any property you are interested in. You can also find much of this information on our website. Take a look at the prior year's sales book in our office for comparable homes that have sold. Next, you will find a section for improper classification. This will not be of value to you in our town. Hull has a single tax rate for all classes of property. The space is there for those cities and towns which have a different or split tax rate for property classified commercial versus residential. The purchase information section is next. Please fill in all requested data if your property was purchased within the past 2 years. If you have owned it 3 years or more, you can leave this area blank. Part 2 is the physical description. Please complete all areas in this section. Use additional sheets of paper if necessary to describe anything that you feel may have an effect on the market value of your property. Part 3 deals with the rental and income information. Many properties in Hull are rented or have accessory apartments which are rented. Some rentals are year-round, some off-season from September to June, and some are for only the summer months. One of the methods of valuation utilizes the income stream of a property as a tool to calculate a market value. If you rent out any portion of your property, please complete this section. The Board of Assessors has 3 months from the date you file your application for abatement to take action. If the Board does not take action within this time, your application is deemed denied by act of law. If you did not fill out the requisition with your application for abatement, be sure to file it with our office within 30 days of filing your application. If this form is not filled out completely, or it is not filed within 30 days, the Board may deny your application. You will receive notification from our office regardless of whether that disposition was to grant or deny your abatement. Additional information on abatements, exemptions, and the assessing process is available through the Assessor's page on the Hull website. If you desire a meeting with the full Board of Assessors, please request one. You will be scheduled at the first available opportunity after the inspection. The Board generally meets on Tuesday evenings. If you are dissatisfied with the Board's decision or your application is deemed denied, you have the right to file an appeal with the Appellate Tax Board in Boston. Your right of appeal lasts for 3 months from the date of the decision of the Board of Assessors or from the date your application was deemed denied. The ATB is entitled to presume that the assessment is valid until the taxpayer sustains his or her burden of proving otherwise. In this program, we discuss the process, some of the terms, and the necessary forms. The assessor and the Board review each application. The application requires you to provide information about yourself, the property, and the reason why you feel the assessment should be changed. The statutory abatement procedure is in force only after the fiscal year third quarter tax bill has been mailed. The deadline to file for abatement is the close of business on the day the bill is due. Our staff will answer any questions you might have about this entire process.